Hey everybody, Yankee here. First off, I want you to please excuse the food stains on my shirt because I'm a slob. But I want to let everyone know that I am reposting a video here that took place on another person's channel. I'm not sure how it ended up streaming on my channel. I think maybe he did something to allow it to do that. But since it did show up on my channel, my live section, I'm going to put it over in my regular videos so people can see this debate. And I think there's a lot of things people can learn from this. First off, I want everyone to be polite, kind to everybody that's involved. Not everybody is great at everything, and some people have biases, and they try to overcome their biases and be, impartial. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think everybody was doing their best. So watch it with a little bit of kindness. And yes, I know I was going on into enemy territory, so nothing here that happened surprised me. I was ready for any of this. I didn't even know what we were really debating when I showed up, as you'll tell when you watch the video. But I knew I was going into hostile territory. I knew the audience was going to be against me. I am not well liked in the mainstream gun community. I think everyone knows that. It's kind of a badge of honor for me. So I wanted to go in there, though. I know a lot of gun tubers will not go anywhere where there's any questioning of them. They will only play to friendly audiences. And there's a reason for that. You do end up getting attacked. You do end up on the defensive, etc. if you're not real good at holding your own. So they don't want to get involved with that. I, however, love to go to enemy territory because I think if you go somewhere where 95% of the people hate your guts and disagree with you, and after a debate, only 93% hate your guts and disagree with you, well, then you've actually made progress. If all you ever do is preach to people who agree with you or like you, support you, well, then you never make any progress. So keep all that in mind when you watch. And like I said, try to enjoy it. A lot of people don't like conflict at all. Being a Gen Xer, I thrive on conflict. I think it's just part of my generation. I know younger people, that's not true of. And sometimes I, step on their toes, and I apologize if I do. But like I said, I'm going to repost this so everybody can see it. Keep in mind, everything that happened, I expected to happen. Nothing was a surprise. I don't bear any ill will to anyone, and hopefully you won't either. And you don't have to agree with me at all. Like I said, you can disagree all you want. But like I said, watch it, enjoy it, and don't be mean to anybody. And that includes me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have Mr. Yankee Marshall and Randy Reviews It. This is going to be a very informal debate between the two of them, where I act mostly as the moderator. Now, that being said, if people have questions in the comment super chats, I'll probably try to run them along the bottom, but I'm not going to interrupt the flow of conversation. So we might get to them at the end of the stream, but we're just going to let the two interlocutors at it. But before we do, how is both of your nights going so far?
Good.
Was that intro
Fantastic.
the whole intro? Did everybody see all that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's the intro.
My people would have left 5 seconds into that.
I
don't know about that.
No one would hang around that long to watch my show. They'd been like, well, I'm out of here.
It allows people to get in while it's going live or something. It's been a habit on this show, so it's worked out all right. But yeah, so I think the opening, I'm just going to toss it to Randy. Randy is the reason that this gets put together. He's the one who wanted to set this up and use my channel as a hosting platform for it. So Randy, why don't you get it rolling, sir?
Yeah. So little backstory here. About 2 years ago, actually August 9th, 2023, I created a YouTube short where I said the SIG 320 still has issues. Stop listening to people like the Yankee Marshall that don't shoot their guns. Well, of course, we've seen a bunch of SIG 320 issues in the last month especially, and it got picked up by the YouTube algorithm, and maybe one of his golems went out and grabbed it and said, here you go, Yankee, have a look at this. And then what he did is a video of his own where he told what's left of his subscription and viewer base to come brigade my channel and leave comments on things. So I was just amused by the comments, but also amused that he still defends the 320 as a gun that doesn't go off on its own?
Of course I do, because there's never been a case of it going off on its own.
I mean, is that even up for debate at this point?
Yeah, that's
like
very much up
SIGs
for
issued
debate.
statements, they apologize for it.
No, they didn't apologize for a gun
tons
going
of
off on its
videos
own.
on
You're
it.
insane.
What was it? LFD did a video showing how it can go off on its own.
I don't know. He didn't. He made a video about how you could possibly make it go off. He never showed any example of it ever going off on its own.
Our amazing host here has also showed how his 320 could potentially detonate as well.
Potentially, but does he ever show a case of it doing it?
Well, if you'd like me to jump in here, Randy, because you mentioned me, the LFD video, I believe he does at one point in that video with mismatched parts get it to go off on its. I believe that did happen.
Mismatched parts forcing a gun to malfunction. That's really how you judge a gun.
And there's also the parts being made in India where they wear extremely early, causing.
I haven't seen an example of one having extreme wear causing it go off. Please point me to that.
I mean, if you knew who Focus was, you would have seen it probably a dozen times in the last
guns
few
are made,
months.
and almost every gun has parts that are made somewhere else.
So let me ask you this. Do you think people should still buy the P320 and that it's a good gun?
Oh, P320 is a great gun if you're okay with what it's made for. I wouldn't buy one or carry one.
What is it made for?
It's made to shoot very fast, very quickly, with very little between you and the trigger.
I'm pretty sure it was more a duty gun.
That's what a duty gun
carried
is.
by duty people.
They're made to go off quick and shoot fast.
Well, then why doesn't Glock have any of these issues?
Glock has a heavier trigger and a trigger dongle and a different setup where you have to recock the trigger.
You think that there's a purpose for that, though? For example, if you're a police officer and you're getting in a tussle, would you want to
keep shooting themselves with them? That's why they added the dongle.
So let's talk about the Walther PDP, which has arguably a lighter trigger than the SIG, but we don't see Walther PDPs going off on a regular basis.
Arguably a lighter trigger. What's the trigger weight?
Like 3.25, 3.5. I've owned 3 Walthers.
My Walthers don't have that trigger pull. I've never seen that listed, but cops don't use PDPs. That's the main reason why you're not seeing it. Same reason you saw it with Glock was because police were using it, military was using it. Most of them aren't well trained in the use of guns. They're giving them more gun than they can handle. Same thing with the SIGs. PDPs, as far as I know, aren't used by any. I'm not saying that their triggers are actually that light, because I find that hard to believe. And 2, they aren't used by police departments and military.
So let's just for chance get rid of the police and the military right now with Walther.
Okay.
Let's talk about competition where these guns are being run around and bounced in their holsters. There's reputable companies like Achilles Heels Tactical banning SIG 320s in their classes, but they're not banning Walthers. Walthers have been running fine competitions. They're not going off on their own, but the SIG 320s have had a record of it.
No, they don't have not one verified case of it. You keep saying there's a record of it. There isn't. There isn't a record of it, period, except for in the minds of some people.
Put out the statement, we're sorry about this airman dying if it never happened.
The airman dying, people already turned that story into something it wasn't. It was like it was sitting on a table and it just went off. The actual story was he was removing it from his holster and sitting it on a table when it went off. So once again, handling the gun goes off. It's not a gun you can just handle and be completely safe with unless you're completely safe. So once again, the gun is acting as it's designed. The people handling it can handle it. I wouldn't want one simply because I wouldn't trust myself to handle it properly.
I think you're just kind of full of shit and in denial
as designed.
about recommending a dangerous firearm to your audience.
What?
So let's say someone in your audience, you know, the dozen that are left.
I have more subs now than I've ever had.
Yeah, I know. You had 370,000 subs, and tonight only one person signed up for a jackknife giveaway, and they got it. Congratulations!
Yeah, because most people that follow me, they're going to support it already do. So
no one signs up for a giveaway.
How many people support you on Patreon?
I don't have a Patreon because I'm not, money grubbing. liar
Is that,
like you are.
you haven't seen your dick in years. Is that something we should talk about? That's got nothing
haven't-
to do with what
you
we're
haven't
talking
used
about.
your-
Should we go
yours
about
with a
that, or
woman
should we
in
just
years.
talk about anything?
I have
we-
a kid that was naturally born.
Should
Did
we
you,
stick to the
Yankee
topic, or
Marshall?
should we just talk about how you're
No.
so fat you can't walk up a flight of stairs?
I can walk up a flight of stairs. Plenty
Yeah,
of
try it.
people.
Try it twice and see what happens.
Oh yeah, look at this guy.
I want a
looking
video
like
of you
Philadelphia
proving you
Tom
can walk
Hanks.
up the
Gentlemen. So on the topic of I just have a personal question, Yankee. So you say you wouldn't, did I hear this right? That you wouldn't trust yourself to carry one?
Oh God, no! I don't trust myself with striker fire guns.
Okay. That's not a take I've heard very often, so that's interesting.
I just don't. I'm someone that I think the best safety you can have on a gun is a heavier first pull on a trigger. That's why I like double action, single action, hammer fired guns. That is the best safety, because even manual safeties can be off when you think they're on or on when you think they're off and cause problems. So I would just rather have a double action, single action striker or hammer fired gun that has that deliberate heavy first pull, lighter second pulls, because that's what I trust myself with. That's what I grew up with. And that's what I like. I don't like Glocks, because same thing when Glocks first came around. I'm old enough to have been part of the gun community when Glocks first came around. I was already carrying in 1984. Anybody else in this room that was already carrying in 1984?
Congratulations, you're old.
Or is there anybody in here that's a simple yes or no question?
I mean, I wasn't even born, bro.
Yeah. So I was there. I remember all of the hype and all of the fear mongering and all of the attacks on Glock, how they were totally unsafe, that police departments were banning them, and Glock had to go and make a special trigger for police departments so they'd stop shooting themselves. That's why we have the Glock New York trigger. So I remember that. I sat through that, and I watched a bunch of low IQ individuals run with it and make big deals out of it. And even people like that own gun shops are like, I'll never sell a fucking Glock. They're too dangerous and they're not real guns and blah, blah, blah. And I went through that. So I've been through this cycle before. And I'm seeing the same thing with the SIG, almost identical thing with the SIG. Even the lawsuits are very similar. The only thing is that SIG hasn't been accused yet of exploding when you shoot 40s through it like Glock was. So I haven't seen anything. And I'm a person, I have no loyalty to SIG or no loyalty to the P320. I tell people I don't want one, don't carry one, wouldn't carry one. But I don't like people who can't think. And I don't like people who are easily manipulated and will believe extraordinary claims with little or no evidence. If someone makes an extraordinary claim, like guns are going off on their own, which is very detrimental to the Second Amendment cause, to actually even say that can happen, that gives people a reason to want to ban them, a reason to want to restrict them. To say that with no evidence whatsoever, no real hard evidence, just speculation, and people trying to make things fail, which Bloomberg has done many tests. Would you shut the fuck up while I finish my thought? Bloomberg has done
Yankee. And you have been going for a minute, so I'd like to.
So I'm making a point, and if anybody can counter that point, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, this guy with all those guns on the wall, they're just showpieces. He doesn't fucking shoot that much. Ben Stegall,
you see the ones that aren't there right now? That's because I shot him yesterday.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Along with the little Funko Pops up on the fucking counter. So
what does that got to do with anything?
Will you let me finish now?
Well, you just seem to want to engage in things that's got nothing to do with our.
Will you let me finish now?
Makes me think you got nothing to say.
Keep going. Keep digging yourself that fucking hole. Well,
you seem like you just want to. You just seem like you have a vendetta, and you want to try to prove to everyone that you don't have a nubby little dick. But unless you drop your pants right now, you got a nubby little dick.
Let's call your partner Robert in here and ask him how big yours is.
Who?
Robert. There's a.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to talk about how big my dick is. And I don't think anybody wants to talk about that. Is that the topic?
Yeah, let's. I mean,
is that the topic? Is that what you? Is that what you wanted this guy to host a video about today? Or was it about the SIG P320?
My thoughts on the 320, but you keep interrupting it with bullshit.
No, you're the one that keeps bringing up outside things and things that don't got nothing to do with the 320. Is that what you want to do?
Ben has made like a dozen videos in the last 2 months on the 320. Someone who's respected in the gun community who shoots
and how many people have ever came in to debate me on what I said? They hear it. They see the videos. They know when I call them out. How many of them have ever stood up and tried to say something different?
Oh, just because you're a contrarian, you're right? Oh,
no, just because they won't defend their positions. They will not defend their positions. How many of them have actually gone on a debate and defended their position?
Get punched in the face, and then I'm going to support naked bike rides and everything else.
Gentlemen. If Randy, I'd like Yankee got his point out about the P320. I'd like you to respond to that element of it, if you could.
Which element? That there hasn't been a documented case? Because there have been.
So I am curious about that. But if I were you, if this was mine, I would simply talk about Genghis Khan.
Oh yeah, Genghis Khan had it go off in his holster. I believe it hit a jackknife or a pocket knife, so that his leg wasn't like destroyed. But I believe he was just at a competition or something. And Genghis Khan is all over Instagram, pictures. He's in all the SIG 320. Whenever we see a new issue, he's like, I remember, because Pepperidge Farm does, you know. And Genghis Khan is a clear example of that.
So he's getting publicity off of it. Where's his proof?
Well, so if I can add a little bit of context. So Genghis Khan was at a steel challenge match, and he has a full video on this full breakdown of what exactly happened. He had his hands up, high ready position for the start position at a steel challenge match, P320 in a holster. It goes off, strikes the knife in his leg, and then deflects, right? He has the mark on his leg.
No, it doesn't go off while he's holding his hands up.
That's what he claims. That's what he claims. And also, the RO and the range sign off on it. So you'd have to not only call him a liar, but the witnesses to the event as well. So you're saying all of those are liars.
Here's the thing. I was in military intelligence for years. And one of the things we investigated quite often was people that had NDs. You know how many times, let's say I investigated 3 dozen of those. You know how many times people say the gun went off without the trigger being pulled? Any guess?
Just because it happens a majority doesn't mean the other option can't happen.
How about the moderator? Any guess?
I mean, if you're asking me, there is an incentive, and I agree that we should be skeptical of people claiming NDs because they have an incentive for it to not be on their fault.
Yeah.
But just because they claim an ND doesn't mean that
every time. Every time there was ever any question of whether the trigger was pulled, every time they claimed the trigger was not pulled, every investigation. You know how many times it turned out a gun fired without a trigger being pulled or was proven to be able to fire without the trigger being pulled? 0. Just like with the SIG. There's been no proof of it ever firing without the trigger being pulled.
Genghis Khan, we just
he has no proof. He has his story.
But because you sit in your hovel in Washington, and you don't go on the internet, you don't.
Is someone's anecdote? Is that extraordinary evidence to you?
But like John said, there's a range officer, someone who is responsible for the safety of people on their range, has declared that this
say things all the time that aren't true. They remember things that aren't true. I'm a psychologist. Believe me, I know about that. So I don't take hearsay as extraordinary evidence. Do you take hearsay as extraordinary evidence?
I take video evidence. I take
There's no video of it. There is no video of it.
I do have
eyewitness accounts.
I do have a meme clip.
Testicular torsion.
There. It looks like it was in the front where you couldn't see, like it had hold of something.
Correct, but that is again allegedly a P320 going off and shooting a man's
hands on it as he's walking around and then fires the gun. Why is every video questionable? Why is there not a single video of the gun is just sitting in the holster and the guy's like, and it goes bang?
So that's a false argument, and that's a false argument because the argument is not that they take no input. The argument is that some input can get them to go off, which is consistent with the FBI report. So not input on the trigger. We're talking about with reduced sear contact and a failure.
No. Because in the FBI report, they said this is all hypothetical. If the sear was not properly set, then this can happen. They weren't ever able to make that happen. But you could say that about any gun. I can say that about a 1911. I can say that if the safety had failed to make engage properly with the system, series 80 system, that gun could go off with the safety on. That's totally true.
Right, but if you combine if you combine the theoretical possibilities with the actual reports from inspections like the Army and the Marine Corps that's doing an
Army
engineered
report said
review
there
of
was nothing wrong
P320.
with them.
Well, no, but if you remember correctly, there were some of them that were missing striker safeties, right? So improper installation from the
that would
factory.
be an issue. If there were guns out there that
Correct.
were missing striker safeties and people were
So
saying, look, my
what's
gun
the
doesn't
issue?
have the striker safety, that's a problem and that should be fixed. That's not guns going off without pulling the trigger. Even the ones without the striker safeties most likely wouldn't go off without pulling the trigger. It'd be very difficult. Even the FBI report and the Army report all say that this, and this would have to happen, and then this could maybe happen.
Now,
But
I do
people
have
are it from that because that doesn't suit their purposes. They've got this false notion in their head that there's 50 videos out there with a gun going off and nobody's even touching it. Not true. There's not one. Oh, there's been lawsuits won where the gun went off when nobody was touching it. There's not one case of that, period. And no one can produce actual evidence of that. The video you just showed, the guy's walking. I can't stand up because I got my gun on.
You're good.
Trouble.
You're good. We get it.
He's walking along doing this in front of himself with his back to the camera. Gun goes off. And what do you want to jump to? What conclusion? The gun went off on its own. Nothing there would indicate that at all.
Wasn't there the video the other week where the cop was just walking to the car with stuff?
You mean
in
the
his
one that
hand
had
and
it in
went
their
off?
backpack without being in a proper holster?
No, it was in a holster.
No, it wasn't. The official report, there's no holster found. So,
I mean,
you're making things out of something you think you saw.
no,
something
you're just flat out lying about things like you do on other shit on your channel.
Why do you not like? Why do you not like the Sig P320?
I love the X grip on it. I think it's a great grip.
I mean,
I don't like it because it's a dangerous firearm that has been shown on multiple cases to have a higher rate of going off on its own.
No, it has a higher rate of NDs, not a higher rate of going off on its own. You're misrepresenting facts again. And I would agree with you 100% that it has a higher rate of NDs.
For the last 10 minutes, you couldn't accept any fact. You were, that's not a fact.
It does have a higher rate of NDs. People are negligently firing their guns. And that's because the gun has absolutely no system that stops you from when you touch that trigger or something foreign object touch that trigger, it's going to go off with very little effort. That's true.
But they're not touching the trigger. Gungus never touched the trigger.
Not unless you want to fire it.
It went off without him touching the trigger where you just said.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. Prove it.
There's video.
There isn't. There is no video of a gun going off without them touching the trigger. There isn't. You're lying.
You're lying.
No, you're lying.
In complete fucking
show the video right now. Show the video right
now. I have this one that I just pulled up. Now this one here is the school resource officer. I believe you're incorrect in the fact that they did in fact have a holster. This might be a little difficult.
Yep, this is the one.
So she does have a holster. Well, she pulls it out of her holster after she shoots herself here.
Did she shoot herself or just fire the gun?
No, I believe it did hit her. So she drops it. It shoots her right there.
Okay.
It is sitting in her holster. So it was in her holster.
Can you see the trigger?
No, I cannot see the trigger, but I can see
the trigger pulled by something in her backpack?
Well, so that would be the argument, right? That would be the
right. That would be the logical argument.
But
that would be the most.
Well, my friend, you have
if you were doing,
you have as much evidence as I do to the contrary, my sir.
You would have to find what's the most likely scenario. Most likely scenario: she's got a gun in a backpack, not properly secured. She drops that backpack on the ground. It goes off. What's the most likely scenario? Something activated that trigger. So that's the most likely scenario. And to move outside that likely scenario, you have to have extraordinary evidence. To say like a gun goes off on its own, you'd have to have extraordinary evidence. And I don't see any there's definitely no extraordinary evidence in that video.
I just saw Sig Sauer put a $20 super chat in on June 24th, 2025 at approximately 12:50 p.m. Department school resource officer was injured when her department approved firearm discharge
read the word Sauer
while holstered.
Read the word sour.
Yeah, I know.
That's not Sig Sauer.
I know. It's a regular viewer of the channel. Yeah. I mean, follow along, old man. Jesus.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Nothing.
You think Sig would be in John's chat, like, telling themselves that our guns go off?
So what's the point? Why were you reading that like it was from Sig Sauer?
I wasn't reading it like that. It's from Sig Sauer.
The look on your face told us that when I told you to read the word sour, and you went, ugh.
Yeah, because I can't believe how incredibly stupid you are.
No, I think you were trying to use that as evidence to mislead people when you don't have any evidence.
You mislead people all the time.
Name one time.
Okay, let's talk about the pets and vets a little bit.
All right, let's talk about it.
So you have people donate to your channel, and you tell everyone that you donate all this money out of the kindness of your heart to
this. Not just the kindness of my heart, but for reasons, yes.
Yeah. Do you reduce your personal tax burden with the amount you write off to charity?
No, because it doesn't change much. Because if that money wouldn't have come in, all I do is reduce my tax rate. All I do is reduce my tax rate back to the rate it would be if I never collected that money for charity.
I don't think so. I
don't think you know how taxes work or charities.
Yeah, I file taxes. And
do you really?
Yeah.
So your McDonald's job pays well enough for you to file taxes?
McDonald's job. See, I love these like little personal insults you hurl. Like when I was on your
from the beginning, dude. So you got to take a joke if you're going to make little comments.
Yeah, let's talk about your partner Robert and how your kids are not biological. Because last time I was on your stream, you're like, "Is your son biological?" And then here, this guy has got adopted children.
I asked you if your son was biological as a joke in saying that I couldn't imagine your penis made it to a vagina.
Yeah.
You obviously can't take a joke because you have, I don't know if it's low IQ or insecurity issues, but you couldn't take a joke. And you started acting like a big baby. You made fun of my weight. Be a man, dude. Buck up a little bit.
You think it's the first time someone's made fun of my weight?
Buck up. Stop being a pussy.
You do need to be in a nursing home, man.
Stop being a pussy.
Well, now I just have a curious question here. So if we're seeing departments switching from the Glock from the P320 to the Glock, why aren't we seeing the same holster related issues with other firearms that we're seeing with the P320 now?
What do you mean?
For instance, people
when Air Marshals had a problem where their holsters were causing their guns to go off, and they weren't P320s.
Do you have a source for that? I believe that's probably the first.
Thousands of lots of news stories and videos from back in the day when it happened, but it was like several years ago.
Got binders of news stories.
But there's been you can find news stories all the time about improper holsters. Would you put your gun in a and I've done this, so I can say this from experience. Would you walk around with your gun in one of those, what do you call them? Nylon Uncle Mike's holsters?
Oh, well, no, but I would carry it in a Safariland, which Sig blamed the issues of the police officers. They blamed the Safariland certified holsters, which
that were
are
made
the
for
same
Sig
holsters.
P226s.
No,
Correct.
That were made for P320s. Nope. They even
just repurchased.
Phil Strader himself brought out a holster for demonstration that was made for the gun that he put in there to show how it would go off, and he objectively blamed the correct Safariland holster for the issue.
Well, that one I don't know much about. The last thing I saw on that is they said that they used the same base holster for the 226 they used for the 320. That's the last thing I saw about that.
And you believe the hearsay?
No, I believe the guy who makes the holsters. That was their official position.
Just like I believe the guy who got shot in the leg.
But he's not the guy. They're not making an extraordinary claim. See, when they say we use the same base molds for the P320s we use for the P226s, that's not an extraordinary claim. That's just him saying, here's what we do. When someone says a gun goes off without the trigger being pulled, that's an extraordinary claim. And I'm not saying that's never happened. That's happened in guns before. We've had guns that has happened with, Remingtons, etc. But I'm saying when it is being done, it has to be repeatable. You have to be able to show that it can happen. You have to be able to repeat that it happens. You have to have proof that it happens, or else that extraordinary claim doesn't go anywhere. And so far, no one's been able to recreate a SIG P320 going off on its own. no one has been able to repeat that, and no one's shown any evidence of it. So until they do, it remains an unsupported claim.
So when
And right now, Bloomberg is paying people to say bad things about the P320. And if you think that's not true, well, then you obviously don't have any people on the inside in the anti-gun movement, because yes, they are. They're sending money through these big advertising companies that do advertising for silencers, etc., to try to influence the opinions of people on YouTube.
You got people in the closet, all kinds of
people on YouTube, period.
So when Sig Sauer, the real Sig Sauer, comes out and says we're discontinuing the 320 because of whatever, will you issue a public apology?
No, not unless they say we were wrong. It is going off, and on
if
that
they
day,
say
I'll
that
say,
they're
okay,
wrong,
now there's evidence it's going on.
Yeah, will you go back and change all of this, all of your videos, because you have numerous videos on the 320?
Yeah,
being
of course.
safe
I would issue
and
if
disregard
tomorrow, if someone just came on that wasn't Sig Sauer and had a credible video, like say they had a video at the range and their range officer's just standing there talking to someone and their P320 goes off in their holster, I'll do a video tomorrow saying I was absolutely wrong. Here's some actual evidence that makes me think that this extraordinary claim might have some basis.
So I am curious about the video evidence, because I've been just rolling this in the background. Like, so here an officer is laying on the ground after his gun allegedly shot him, and the second cop comes to the scene to remove it from the holster.
No, that's not. That was part of the police report.
And, well, no, I'm watching it right now. Him take the P320 out of his holster.
Oh, you're talking about that? I've never seen that one. But even then, guns go off when you jostle them up and down in your holster. Wait, when is it in his hands there first? Was that the same?
Well, no. The officer was on the ground, and then they respond to it, and he takes it out of the holster.
That trigger looks really far forward for a gun that went off in the holster.
I didn't see the video you were talking about. You didn't go back to it. So
well, it's Instagram doesn't allow me to go back, so we just have to cycle through the 60 seconds. It's annoying.
Oh no, you can go. All you gotta do is click that little bar at the bottom and drag it backwards. You can go backwards.
Instagram?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, you can go backwards on Instagram. Where's my phone?
Well, on your phone, maybe not on desktop. I'm on desktop.
Oh yeah, I don't do it on desktop, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they would fix that, but I can't. So I just have to cycle through.
I didn't even know for the longest time you could do Instagram on desktop.
Yeah, it's not good.
But if we can get back to it.
It's coming up. I think it's the next one. So that one there, nobody's touching the gun. It goes off. And
then this one here, I didn't see like nobody was touching the gun.
His hands were...
Get the reading glasses out.
Both of his hands were clearly in view.
Let's see.
For that one. So this one here...
Can't go back. That's the thing. So find the video
we can watch this one,
where we can rewind it and stuff.
Well, so this one here... So the officer is on the ground. The second officer is taking the P320 out of his holster.
Okay.
You can see it is in his holster, undoes it, brings it out, and you could probably, if I could freeze frame it, you could probably even see if the trigger was still forward.
Why did he take the guy's holster out of his gun out of his holster? I'm not having context.
Because his claim was that it just shot him. I'll try and find the actual video, but I'll let you two continue on while I find that.
So you talk about giving public apologies when you're wrong. Did you ever issue a public apology for accusing Mr. Guns and Gear of stolen valor?
Yeah, I even explained why I did it. Because it wasn't about, people say it was about, you say he didn't serve. No, it's about he's collecting disability when he's not injured.
That's untrue.
No, that's true. He was collecting disability for years and he wasn't injured.
How do you know? Do you have his personal file, or was it
talked to him in person many times? Have you?
Yeah, I know, Mike.
He was collecting disability. He never said that wasn't true, and I didn't even care about.
Well, you're saying military
people
can only collect disability if they're wheeling around in a wheelchair or using crutches.
You're wanting to know about this, so I'll tell you about it. Someone contacted me, said they used to work with him. He's been on disability for years, yet he goes to the gym every day. So I don't care, but I made a video about it because I was trying to get his attention, and I told him I was just trying to get his attention because he was lying about something online and he was ignoring me when I was trying, because we used to be friendly. We used to talk. And then he started, one day we had something happening, and they were, him and Guns and Gadgets were online saying, this horrific thing is happening right now that should make you angry. And I said, well, that horrific thing isn't happening. You're getting false information. And they're like, no, it's happening. We've got proof it's happening. I'm like, you're saying it's happening right here at this this police station. I'm at that police station right now. It's not happening. And I said, so this is a fake story. People are feeding to feed into the fear and the hatred and everything else. And I was like, we really shouldn't be engaging in divisive stuff just for the sake of division. And we should be supporting people's First Amendment rights, not just Second Amendment rights. If we're going to be defenders of the Constitution, we have to defend all of it. And I said, this isn't happening. Here's proof it isn't happening. Here's video of the building you're saying it's happening at right now. It's not happening. But they both doubled down, started telling lies about what was going on there that I was involved in, and I said, just come talk to me about it. And they wouldn't, because they knew they were lying, and they knew I was there and had video proof they were lying. So they avoided me. And he acted like he never heard or said anything I did. But boy, as soon as I made that video alleging that something was going on, didn't say what it was, or that anything like that. Boy, he made a tearful video 15 minutes later. So he obviously saw everything else I said too. He just didn't want to respond to the fact that he was lying, that he was engaging in fear mongering for profit. And that was the point of the whole thing. And I knew I was going to suffer because of it. I didn't care. I was like, I don't mind if I lose subs, or I don't do this to be popular or be famous. I want nothing of that. I get asked to come and speak at things. I say, no, thank you. I don't need to be the front of the podium. I don't need to be the face of anything. I'm not here for that.
Naked bike rides. That's where you get asked to speak.
No, I don't go to naked bike rides. Nobody wants to see me naked.
Have you ever been to a drag show, Yankee Marshall?
Yes, lots of times.
Yeah.
I used to live with a guy who was a professional wrestler and a drag queen. He was one of my good friends.
Lived with him?
Well, but separate bedrooms. He was just a friend.
Oh, so
but he was a drag queen and a professional wrestler with WCW. So what's your point?
I'm just saying you have a long history of fear mongering and lying yourself.
Really? Where? I've got a lot of videos pointing to my fear mongering.
My YouTube, I hate this gun so much. And then you go to the video, it's like, I hate this gun so much because I love how well it shoots. Just click.
That's not fear mongering. Boy, are you really that stupid?
Let's pull up your thumbnails on.
Hey, dude, wait a second. Let me ask for a judgment call here. Moderator, is that fear mongering?
Technically, that's not fear mongering. That's
probably clickbait. Yeah. But have you ever made any video with a title like "The government doesn't want you to have this" or "Watch out for the government on this"?
Well, yeah, when I think it's justified, but I don't just go around trying to be divisive, and I don't scream to everybody, "You better go out and buy more guns," or "You better get angry." I don't ask people to get angry. No,
but you did tell everyone
to try to do something to make things better. Gun rights for the mentally ill. Bring back firing squads.
I mean, the no gun rights for the mentally ill ! That could be construed as fear mongering, right?
No, not if you pay any attention to the video. Because the question posed to the people in my chat was, should mentally ill people have gun rights? And they overwhelmingly said yes.
Yeah.
I love how this is supposed to be impartial, but you're trying really hard to try to catch me in something, even though it's not there.
I'm just pulling it up for context. It was a question you brought up, man.
Right, pull up his. I want to see his videos.
Yeah, pull up mine.
All right, 1 second. Let's see here. And bring us back. Sorry, no producer today, just me. So go to videos tab. We got for trench grenade. I hope it ends today. Top 10 AR-15s you should buy. Still good? ? The internet lied to you. Talking about Tim Kennedy. I mean, it's pretty. I'm not gonna lie, Randy. Randy, your thumbnail game is pretty generic, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It definitely is.
And mine is too. I don't fault anybody for that. Mine's pretty generic, also.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make thumbnails. That's not my main goal in life.
Well, if you gentlemen would like, I did pull up this article and we can kind of see the video in more detail if that works better for us. Let me pull this. No, that's not going to work. This one. Okay.
Police officers
How do we hear that?
Country are facing friendly fire, but they have no idea when it's going to happen. It's related to a popular service pistol, the Sig Sauer P320. This LaGrange police officer nearly died when he says his P320 went off out of the blue. As I was investigating his case and obtaining body camera video, it happened again to another officer. A warning tonight, the images you are about to see may be disturbing for some viewers. Frantic moments on the night of May 9th, 2024. I just obtained this body camera video showing first responders rushing to help LaGrange.
So it's kind of hard to tell, but that is his pistol in an alien gear holster and what appears to be completely sealed.
Are they allowed to use alien gear holsters?
Yeah, alien gear are allowed in some police departments. It depends on your department.
Yeah, they got.
I mean, I got anything against alien gear. I like alien gear holsters.
I have one of their level 3 holsters as well for a 17.
I just don't carry inside waistband, and I consider most of their stuff inside waistband stuff.
They got a duty one that's outside the waistband now.
Who was bleeding out on the ground. Officer Currington was shot in the leg. You can see a
Where
brown
is he?
belt.
Go back. Where was he shot at there?
Just underneath the holster. You can it's difficult to see the blood.
Yeah, I can't really see.
And I don't know where the entry, but it looks, there's the holster in the top left. And then
that doesn't look
entry,
like where the holster would be pointing at on his body.
Depending on if he was standing, sitting, or getting out
Yeah,
of
it
the
just
car,
looks
whatever
like it's
it
a
might have
little
been.
in the wrong spot, like he had his hand on the holster.
If you're gonna, I mean, but again, that's a claim without evidence.
If you can't see the gun go off, you have to take entry wound, exit wound, stuff like that into account. Because one of the things, like I said, back in the day when we used to do investigations in the Army, people would say, my gun went off in the holster and shot me in the leg. And by the end of the investigation, we'd be saying, well, then why is it in the front of your leg and going out 2 inches lower on the back? That couldn't possibly come out of your holster. So that is part of the investigation.
Sure, but I'll grant your premise that he might have had his hand on the holster, but any gun should be able to be touched without going off inside of a holster.
No, shouldn't be bounced around or pulled and then reholstered or anything like that. That's a big no-no, actually.
I'm pretty damn confident
back in my day, duty holsters had to hold the gun stationary. It wasn't allowed to move around. I don't know about nowadays, but
well, here, but it should show them getting the gun out of the holster.
Was shot in the leg. You can see a brown belt a nearby resident used as an improvised tourniquet, and an officer
good on him.
Scrambles to attach another tourniquet to slow the bleeding.
Can you help me? Is it working? No, I can't get it.
The second tourniquet is secured,
I
but
still can't see where the
has already lost a lot of blood.
Hang in there, Currington.
In the
police can't body footage isn't always the best.
Saw the shooter.
No, that's not good. Like I said, I'd love to see the report of it afterwards, like shows the entrance and exit wound and had the official findings, etc. Because I'm sure they examined the gun.
Well, I'm curious if this is part of a ongoing lawsuit with him. Because this might actually be. So I am curious because SIG has lost lawsuits. So does that hold any weight in your mind?
Well, when you read what they lost him for, yeah. It's like the one lawsuit, the only major lawsuit they lost, they didn't lose it because the gun was proven to go off on its own. They lost it because the jury was convinced that if they had added a manual safety, that it wouldn't have happened. So the fact that they didn't put a manual safety on it, that it would go off.
Well, yeah. So these guys, the reason why you probably haven't seen as much is because both of these 2 Texas officers are currently in litigation with Sig Sauer. Yeah,
and surely there was an inspection of the gun afterwards. That'll come out in the case, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will see that at some point.
And I would be willing to bet it'll say the gun shows no sign of ever malfunctioning or going off without the trigger being pulled.
How much would you bet?
I'd bet $100 right now.
Let's do that.
Okay, I consider it a bet right now. $100.
A handshake deal, $100 between Randy and Yankee Marshall. All right, if that report comes out, if that report specifically or any report.
Hands? Yes, we did the right hands.
Right hand. Perfect.
Well,
Randy,
I've read,
yours.
I've made a point to read since I'm going to do videos on it. Anyone knows when I do my videos, if the video might be 5-10 minutes long, but I do days worth of research before I do one. And I've read a lot of the police reports and all this other stuff. And like I said, it all comes down to everything's hypothetical. Why is anybody listening to Johnny Butt Plug?
Yeah, I'm just running these on the bottom.
I was afraid for a minute that he was the one hosting it when I saw him over.
No.
I was like, oh no.
Right, gonna ambush you over there.
No, it wouldn't have been ambush. I don't avoid anybody.
Sure.
He was one of the ones that one time he said something about me, and I proved him wrong and showed evidence. And I asked him to do a retraction, and instead he tried to donate money to me because he didn't want to do a retraction.
I think that's what we call projecting, like where you're not going to retract.
No, that was just a reality. I even showed it on my video. Showed where he sent me a message and everything, trying to bribe me.
Showed your video. I
showed the email from him, just like I showed the emails from Military Arms Channel when they tried to force me to be quiet with a cease and desist letter. I showed everybody the cease and desist.
You know, like if the SIG 320 is always there, do you think it's a problem? Kind of like the Yankee Marshals always, being aggravating everyone else. It's everyone else's fault, never the Yankee Marshals' fault.
Oh, it's always my fault. I do it on purpose all the time. So,
and I don't know if you remember me coming on your live stream like a year ago. Do you?
Probably, yeah, a little bit. Not. I've had a lot of people on, so I don't remember everybody perfectly like what was said. Yeah. But I usually am thrilled when people come because most people don't have the balls to come and push their opinion. They don't have any desire to actually stand up for what they believe or anything. So I always respect, even if I think people are completely wrong and total jackasses, at least they came on the show and spoke their mind.
So when I came on your show, I came on because of how you were like harassing people at SHOT Show, people that are just manning sales booths.
Who was I harassing at SHOT Show?
If you go back to your SHOT Show footage, I believe it was like the last time you were there, you're like, what piece of shit are you making this year? Is how you started out your conversation with people at these SHOT Show.
I think I made one video about Kel-Tec or High Point where I went into a booth and said, let's see what shit they're putting out this year. I wasn't talking to anybody.
But on our stream, when I came on there, you defended yourself saying, I don't give a fuck about them. I can do whatever I want to them, basically. And I brought up the case that they're just working their normal day-to-day jobs, and you're being rude to them. I'm not
beholden to anybody. And like I said, in that video, you're saying I was saying that to somebody. I wasn't saying that to anybody. I don't usually talk to the people at SHOT Show. I just wander around like a consumer that I am and look at stuff. I don't do interviews with the people doing the booths or any of that stuff. I just don't care to, so I don't do it.
But you like openly admitted to being fine with being rude to them.
I don't think I did. I think I said I'm not beholden to anybody.
And this is kind of what you did is you like.
Well, you've obviously remember it perfectly. So you know where the video is. Go get it and show.
Well, I mean, I would, but you make like 400 videos a day where no one shows up. So
you should be able to find the one you were on, right? You know what day it was.
Well, no, I don't remember. It's like a year ago.
Well, you seem to remember what I said.
Yeah, because you asked why I had a vendetta against you.
Well, so you remember or you don't remember? Which is it? You remember stuff from that or you don't?
I do remember. I don't remember the title of your shitty video. All of them are just called Yankees shooting left of center, number 98. How the fuck am I supposed to find a video? There's no picture of me on it. There's no like description of me in it. It's nearly impossible to find. But what happened in that video is kind of like this, where instead of answering things, you just interrupt and distract and deflect everything that you can. Like when I went on there, you're like, first off, I asked you the question and you started talking about my weight, which obviously I'm a fat fuck right now. I'm dealing with it, working on it. Then the next thing you asked about, like my family, my children, how they were conceived, how they were born,
Yeah,
things
so they
like
can find
that.
your weight.
Yeah.
Because
And so
usually when people come in our chat, I don't know if you've ever been to them, or maybe it's just because you're a millennial, but the way we used to do, we used to bust balls always. If you were
I
accepting
bust
someone,
balls all the time.
if you were accepting someone, like you thought, hey, this guy's actually showing up, let's show him that we actually are okay with him and let's bust his balls a little bit. Younger people, for some reason, they get upset. And I apologize when younger people get upset. I do
Back
that
in
right
my
now. I
day,
say I
we used to
apologize
bust each other's
when younger
balls.
people can't take ball busting. That's I can understand they don't do that very well. And I'm not changing because I'm old. And when we accept someone and we're like, hey, we're glad you're here. We're going to make you feel like you're one of us. We're going to bust your balls a little bit. Obviously, that wasn't something you're used to.
Thanks for
So it bothered
illustrating
you.
my point.
And I'm sorry it bothered you. I'm sorry I did it, and I'm sorry that it bothered you. If I'd have known it would bother you, wouldn't have done it.
No, you would have.
No, if
You're
I'd
kind
have
of an
known it would
asshole
bother
and a
you,
piece of shit. So
no, I would not have done it if I'd known it would bothered you. We've had people come on my chat that have, difficulties. They have emotional or mental difficulties. I don't bust their balls because I know that they probably won't be able to process it. And if I knew someone didn't want to do that, I have no problem with someone saying, hey, if someone before the chat started said, hey, can we not touch on this? Can we not talk about that? Well, we don't touch on it. We don't talk about it because I don't have a need to do that.
yeah, that's bullshit.
No, that's true. If you don't like it, that's because you just don't like
you have
it.
video evidence of you telling that to people?
I've said that to many people. Ask people in my chat.
You never said it to me.
People
I
watch.
was the
You
first
didn't
thing to
come in
know.
before the chat started.
Well, if we want to bring it back to the 320, because we can call each other assholes all day. I'm fine with that. I'm not beating the allegations myself, gentlemen. Okay, there's plenty of people who can have a gripe with me about this. But I'm just curious, right? Because we have all these, reports, and you disregard the FBI report. But what about, let's say, the Marine Corps
FBI report? I did not at all. I completely took the FBI report to heart, and how they were never able to recreate what they said was hypothetically possible.
Well, I don't think that's the correct, because they were able to get primers.
They did sear push tests.
Yeah.
You know what those are, right?
Well, it has to do with movement and jostling, which is going to.
No, you know what a sear push test is, right? You go in with a foreign object and you mechanically manipulate the mechanism in a way that it would normally not be able to be manipulated.
I believe their findings, I'd have to read it, but I believe their wording was something like this is consistent with real world use, bumping, jostling in this sort of environment, like you would find with a police officer. But
it's consistent. Here's the thing. Let me let you know what it said in the report. It said this would be consistent with the bumping, jostling, etc. if the sear had failed.
Right, so, but again,
so they had to go in and mechanically.
I can pull up pictures. I can pull up pictures of sears that have like failed surfaces where the stuff.
Yes, that can happen. That can happen in revolvers and anything. So that can happen.
Well, so my argument is whether it's a individual parts issue or a design issue, I'm not too concerned about
the money you're making tonight. Someone said they want me to have a new Funko Pop. I want a new Funko.
I will send you a brand new, or whatever it takes to get a Funko Pop. I will send it to you.
Well, you know which one I want.
I don't know anything about Funko Pops, but my question was the Marine Corps. So again, allegedly they had a MP, a gate guard, have one go off in his holster with video evidence. Hasn't been released yet, unfortunately. Of course, that would make life much easier. Mm-hmm. But in the Marine Corps engineering, they recommended a full review of the P320 and to no longer carry it with a round in the chamber. So wouldn't you think that points to them suspecting of an issue?
It points to them following protocol to find out if there is an issue. And if they find evidence of an issue, I'll be the first one to say, hey, look, they found evidence of an issue. But I don't say, look, they just filed charges against let me use a real world example just as a thing. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were co-defendants in a case against a 15-year-old girl for sexual assault. Just because the district attorney decided, yes, let's launch an investigation into this, that doesn't mean that Donald Trump was guilty of molesting a 15-year-old girl.
Well, maybe you spoke too soon on that one. I don't know, man.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't mean it right now. And that just means that it's a serious issue and we should check, investigate, see if it's real. That doesn't mean they're guilty. Just like that doesn't mean when they say we're going to do a test and see if the SIG is going to go off. The Army already did that. And what was the conclusion? What was their conclusion? Do you remember the Army report?
I have not read that report or don't
it
have
was,
it off the
there's
top
no,
of my mind. I'm sure
issues, no issues for concern. That was their final statement. No issue for concern. So
I have to pull that up.
Well, that was it. We discussed it in detail in my chat the other day. It was the final, their final conclusion was no issue for concern.
Well, so I actually agree with the statement that you said in there. All of this points to a issue for concern and a cause for investigation. But if I were a person who said, hey, this is a cause for concern, or at least a possible cause for concern, and we should issue or start an investigation into it, I wouldn't recommend people buy something like that.
Oh, I haven't recommended anybody buy one. In fact, in every video, I always make sure that people know that I personally don't like the way they're made, don't actually like guns that are that easy to shoot. And it's like I likened it to carrying your 1911 with the safety off, but the hammer back. I said it's about that level of safe.
You said it's an all right gun to buy at the beginning of the stream.
I didn't say it's an all right gun to buy. People want to buy it, they can buy it. I said right off the bat, made clear that I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't carry one. If you think you're someone that can handle that gun, that you can handle it being that easy to fire, then by all means have it. It's not up to me to tell you. It's like I know people that carry their 1911 cocked and unlocked. Would you recommend people do that?
They're probably your viewers.
I wouldn't recommend people do that, but I'm not going to tell someone else they can't do it.
Sorry, I just looked at your transcript for your P320 video. It said, this is just funny. It said something about Guns and Gadget, who I've never met anyone dumber than that guy.
Yeah, I haven't.
That is funny.
I haven't. I met him at SHOT Show, and the very first day I was like, ugh. Well, he's a cop, for one, and he is the stereotypical cop. And I never really had a problem with him until he started all the lying and that's the fear mongering. I hate
lying.
Fear-mongers.
You hate those
when they're saying that
so much that you make them
when someone is saying that, let's say Antifa has surrounded a building and they've got ARs and they're about to burn it down and there's people inside and you're standing outside the building and they're not.
And then they punch you.
Huh?
And then they punched you for it?
That didn't know. Someone slapped a phone out of my hand. No one punched me. See, once again, misinformation. You seem to believe what you want to believe. I've got the video. The video's still online. You can still go look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The video's still online. You can go look at it. Go look at it and see if what you thought happened. Have you ever watched it?
Oh, yeah.
And what happened?
They slapped the phone out of your hand and you're like, I'm an ally. This is a pet pin. This is a pet pin. I'm an ally.
No, someone was saying something about a pin on my hat. Look, he's got a badge on his hat. And I was like, this is a pet charity pin. And that was somebody else, a different person. So the guy who slapped the phone out of my hand, all he ended up doing was running away when I threatened to break his leg.
Yeah, sure.
But it's there on the video. I've got video evidence of it. You don't seem to want to deal with the reality.
Just like there's video evidence of me being on your stream and how you acted, but you don't want to go back to that and deal with the reality.
Well, find it and
you're a lying asshole.
I did something wrong. I told you, I apologize to you for busting your balls. No. I didn't know you were sensitive.
I'm not sensitive.
Well, obviously,
I just think you're disingenuous, lying asshole.
You've held a grudge for a year.
Viewers at risk.
You've held a grudge for a year. So obviously, you're a little sensitive.
Well, I finally got you on a live stream that gets views, unlike your channel. So I figured I'd let loose a little bit, and I'd let you have it. Everything that you deserve, because you're a lying, disingenuous piece of shit on the internet that misleads his viewers about stuff.
How did I mislead viewers? Let me know, how did I mislead viewers?
I think the 320 is an all right gun.
It is an all right gun.
I don't trust myself to carry one, but by all means,
So you're telling people not to buy a P320, that it's unsafe?
Yeah, I'm telling
Why?
them not to buy a P320.
Why?
Because it's unsafe.
How?
Because they have
What
documented
about
history.
how about guns
The
like
people that I
guns
trust?
how about
people
any
that I
gun that someone
trust-
says is unsafe? Should people not buy guns that some people think are unsafe?
Well, maybe you don't think guns are unsafe, but you don't shoot
think guns are
so
unsafe?
I wouldn't trust you
You
to
think
give it
guns are
because
unsafe?
I don't think you shoot guns.
That's a
I think
FUD
you put them on
attitude
the
if I ever
wall
heard
with
one.
your Funko Pops and other shit.
I don't understand what Funko Pops have to do with anything, but once again, that's confusing to me. But
Guns
think
just
guns
sit
are
on your
unsafe?
wall. You don't actually shoot them that often.
I shoot every day. I got a range on my property. I shoot almost every day.
Yeah, sure.
My
How
son
many rounds
shoots
do you
almost
shoot in a
every
month,
day.
Yankee Marshall? Let's ask
What?
that. How many rounds do you shoot in a month?
I don't
on
know.
average?
But right now, there's probably about 5 empty boxes of the big red packs back here that we've shot in the last, I don't know, few weeks.
Sure.
Sure. So you're,
But I say the
your
320.
absolute lack of knowledge about the thing you're talking about overrides what I really do.
I don't think you do that. I think
I don't
you're
care
lying
what you
about
think.
that.
I don't give two fucks
Just
what you
like
think.
you lie about things on your channel.
I don't
too.
give two fucks what you think. So
I know you don't.
maybe you should stick to talking about things you know, because what you think doesn't really work too well.
I mean, if I had a history of knowing how often people shoot because of how well they talk about firearms, how well they treat, let's
So
say,
you haven't.
SIG
So
320 issues.
name one wrong thing I've said about firearms.
You said that the SIG 320.
Here, let me ask you a question. You want me to? Can I quiz you on some mechanical stuff about firearms?
No,
Why not?
because I'm
you don't
not
know about
digging
them?
into the weeds. I'm saying that
Yeah, you want to talk about Funko Pops? Let's talk about guns. Let's talk
Funko
about
Pops are
guns
right
and
there
how they
behind
work,
you.
the mechanics of a firearm. Let's see which one of us knows more.
Oh, because you know more about the engineering
Well,
of
you
it?
just
Because
said
you
it's
examine
people
all
who
of them
shoot
on the
guns
wall?
know about guns. So if you shoot them, you'll know.
Just because you know about cars doesn't mean you can fucking drive.
No, but you're the one that said that if you shoot guns, you know about them. If you don't know about them, you don't shoot them. So that's your own standard that we're using here.
I don't
Let's
think
do a
you
little
shoot your
contest.
guns, and you're lying
Let's have
about
him
it.
ask us questions about the mechanics of firearms and see who wins.
Well, Mitchell Black for 50 had an interest. He wants to know your thoughts on Israel. That might be a little spicy.
Oh, me? Oh, I don't mind spicy content, but
Sure, go for it.
oh, I don't know what they want to know, but I don't really know. I'm not afraid. I'm not one of these people that's afraid to say I don't know, and I don't know everything about the whole Israeli conflict and all this stuff. It's one of those situations where I feel like no matter which side you support, you're supporting the wrong guy. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I don't have to make these decisions because I wouldn't be qualified to do it. I don't like Netanyahu, period. But that's just, do you like their current president? As far as the Israeli people, I've never had a problem with them. When I worked in the military, I didn't really deal with a lot of Israeli people. I dealt mostly with Turkish people. But I've never had a problem with the Israeli people. I've never had a problem with Palestinian people one-on-one. But when you allow your religious leaders to be your political leaders, I have a problem with that. But Israel does that too. So it's just one of those cases where I'm like, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't want Israel having major influence in American politics and American life. I can tell you that right now. I think they have way too much influence. But as far as the conflict, I just don't have enough information.
No, that's a good take. Sorry to derail.
Nor do I care to have it, though. So that is kind of looks bad on me because I admit I don't know. It's an important topic. Maybe I should look up the information or at least educate myself, but I don't care to. So that's a weakness on my part. Who's Yizzy?
Well, Yeezy is another gentleman we had a chat about the other day. He's kind of a nut. I wouldn't worry about him that much.
Yeah. Is he extremely handsome?
No.
Because people said, is it?
Well, he wears a mask, so we actually don't know. He might be. He might be extremely handsome.
Well, then I can see the comparison, but
right. Well, Randy, anything else you want to talk about? If you want to talk about go back, I know Johnny B wanted to talk more about Mr. Guns and Gear, quote unquote, stolen valor. Yankee, did you ever use the term stolen valor when discussing, or
I don't know
just
if I
that
did
he
it or
lied
not, but I
about
did
disability?
imply, as like, someone contacted me about an issue with Mr. Guns and Gear and this issue. And I said, I'm not going to go into it, but someone contacted. I never said what it was. It was really someone who used to work with him, or so, I think they knew him now was the thing. And they knew he was getting disability from the military, but he was going to the gym, same gym they did every day. And I was like, I don't give two fucks, to be honest, because anybody that's come to my videos know I don't even care about these stolen valor videos. I was in the military. I don't think there's any necessarily defunct valor to being in the military. I don't think it means you know something about something. I don't think it means you're a better person. I just think it means you did a job. I was in the military because I lived in a shitty town in a shitty state, and I joined the military to go to college and get out. I wasn't special because I was in the military, and anybody that's ever been in the military knows it isn't the best and the brightest. There's about 5% best and brightest, and then there's about 40% that are just average, and then there's another 40-something percent that are just jackasses that you wouldn't trust to do anything other than catch bullets. That's just the reality of the military. But like I said, I don't really care about stolen valor stuff, but at the time he was engaging out and out lies back in the day when they were just trying to turn people against people exercising their First Amendment rights. I will never stand against someone exercising their First Amendment rights to protest. I won't call for bombing from the skies or shooting them because they're engaging in protest. And
Is
when
this in
I was
regards
seeing
to
people in the
Antifa
gun
protests?
community do that, I was just so disheartened that people in the gun community would turn their back on the First Amendment and the other amendments, but then pretend to be saviors of the Second Amendment. Support all the amendments, support the freedoms of all people. And if you can't do that, well, then you can't really stand up as a valid supporter for the Second Amendment. If you stand up and preach the values of the Second Amendment and someone says, well, yeah, the other day you said those people should be shot for protesting. Well, then my voice is just useless now. And I don't want useless voices in the gun community. I want people that can stand on their record and can say, yes, I do also support this. I don't agree with it, but I support it. And that's what I was trying to get. And I was so disappointed in Mr. Guns and Gear. The fact that he was engaging in the fear mongering and stuff for profit, that bothered me. Like, be angry and here's a discount code so I can get a kickback from a product. That kind of thing angers me. That's the worst thing in the gun community, that the gun community has gone to where it's all about discount codes, kickbacks from gun organizations, payments from Leviathan. That's the big things in the gun community now. That's what drives the gun community. And that's mainly because YouTube cut the gun community off from like legitimately making money on YouTube. The only money you can really make on YouTube as a gun channel is live chats and stuff. So, but yeah.
True, though. That is real. Yeah. Affiliate marketing killed GunTube.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. If you're so confident that Mr. Guns and Gear did false claims on disability, do you have any court records showing that they collected it back, or that he had to pay it back? Because I
don't care
if that was true, he would have had to have paid it back. But
don't care.
I don't see.
Never even mentioned it. Never even said what it was on air. So don't care.
I
don't know why you're so worried about what I said about Mr. Guns and Gear. Why wouldn't you be more worried? Because it proves that you're a liar. Wait, this is a question though. Why would you not be more worried that it could be proven they were telling lies to all their viewers, lying to them to make them angry? Why are you less concerned about that they were lying to you?
Why are you less concerned about the SIG 320 being unsafe?
That doesn't have anything to do with why you're less concerned about the fact they were lying to you than you are whether their feelings
They weren't lying, though.
They were lying.
No.
Yes, they were. They out and out said something was happening that wasn't happening. And they thought nobody from the gun community would be there. I was there because I'm not a coward. I go to these things. I go to the protests. I go to Proud Boy things. I go to all these things. If they're happening near me, I go.
There you go.
I'm not a coward. I don't sit back in my chair and just be like, ooh, these evil people. I go down and I talk to them because I want there to be more gun people. I want there to be more pro-Second Amendment people, period. I don't decide, well, I'm willing to throw the Second Amendment under the bus for profit right now. Not going to do that. I had every opportunity to do that and chose not to. So I don't understand why someone who cares about the Second Amendment and the gun community would be more concerned about, my childish little jabs at someone than whether they were lying to you for profit or not.
Because it illustrates that you have a past of lying.
No, it doesn't illustrate that I have a past of lying.
If you tell lies about Mr. Guns and Gear,
that wasn't a lie.
Shows
that wasn't a lie. When I said someone came
and
to
you
me,
don't care if it was
yes,
a truth
they
or
did,
not.
and
You
that
even
person
admitted
actually
that.
came to a chat. So that person does know him, did say he got disability, said he goes to the same gym as him. That's an accusation. I didn't care if he ever proved it or not. And I didn't say it was true. I even said might not be true. But I want him to come on and talk to me about the lies he's been telling about what's going on here in Portland and Seattle.
So
because I lived in the area.
So you trusted a third party.
Huh?
You trusted a third party to give you information, and then you went on
what that third party said, and then I
kind
said,
of like what
true,
I trust Genghis Khan having that experience with the SIG 320.
Might be true, might not be true. And unless they can prove it's true, I'm not going to go say it is. So the main point was,
I apologize to the viewers.
Huh?
I didn't think that Yankee Marshall would get on here and just be in complete denial about everything that he said.
Said anything, dude. I don't know.
And then just deflect like this.
So far you've shown that you don't remember what I said, but you remember what I said. That I did this in a video. I got punched in the face in a video, and then you admit that no, you didn't get punched in the face in the video. So it's like you contradict yourself left and right, and you don't want to deal with subjects. Every time we say something like, why wouldn't you be more concerned about them lying to you? You want to change the topic, or you want to talk about Funko Pops or somebody's sexuality or something like that. Because
I know him firsthand
on the real topic.
I don't think he's lying about any of that stuff.
About what stuff?
About anything that you're accusing him of lying.
I showed something he was lying about. Did you not believe it? Did you think that building was actually being burnt down?
I don't believe it.
Did you think that? So you really think that BLM had surrounded the building and they had ARs and that they were about to burn it down with the police still in it?
Potentially. I don't know enough.
You thought that was happening, even though I took my video camera and said, here's the building they're talking about, and here's the stage.
How do I know that was the right building?
Because it was that building, that police district building.
How do I know
you don't
that?
know what the district building is? But you must be real easy to fool if you can't validate anything.
Says the guy that got fooled by Sig Sauer in the chat. So, John, I can tell that this
I was going to point out to you to read the last name.
A shit stream.
I wish we could go back to that point and freeze frame it when you realized it wasn't Sig Sauer.
I bet you're, just proves my point. I did enough on this.
Pinochet has a question for Yankee. He says, what do you think SIG could have done better with handling the concerns of their pistols, and what questions do you think should be put to SIG about these concerns that would help?
What do I think SIG should have done?
Yeah.
For one, I don't think SIG should have been marketing the P320 as just, this is great for everybody for carry. I don't think it is just great for everybody for carry, and I made that position clear. Another thing I think SIG should have done is they should have said, anybody that bought a SIG P320 that has any concerns at all, send it back to us, and we will either put on a trigger safety, a manual safety, or we will change it to where the trigger is heavier. Anybody, if you've got a concern, send it to us. We're sorry. This gun is probably not of specs that would be safe for every carrier. And, it's too easy. If something gets in it, if it just bounces a little bit in the holster and something touches the trigger, it can go off because there's nothing stopping it from happening. We're going to change the way the gun works because we kind of represented that it's okay for everybody, and it's not. That's what I would have liked to see them do. I mean, I don't have a say in it, of course, because I don't have anything to do with Sig Sauer. But and I don't care because I have no loyalty to Sig Sauer. If Sig Sauer tomorrow came out and said we believe that everyone should only be allowed to own 2 guns, well, I'd be like, well, I'm never buying another Sig Sauer, and I'm selling all mine. I got no loyalties to any of them. What I do have loyalty to is rational thought, and it seems to be lacking these days.
Grandpa to the nursing home.
Johnny B wants to know. Maybe I just remembered this, but why is Guns and Gadgets the dumbest person out there?
Oh my God, he's just dumb. Have you know? He's talked to him. He knows. And plus, in a time when people are struggling on their gun channel, what do? They post pictures of themselves in Vegas fanning out $100 bills when their audience is struggling, having hard times. How bright does that sound to you?
I mean, as a gun tuber, I can tell you that most of us are not too bright.
Yeah. I'm not now. I used to be, but I've had several concussions. So I don't think I'm that smart anymore. Someone says $10 to say Funko Pops are gay. The Pops themselves, well, wouldn't that be on each individual Pop? I mean, you can't lump them all together.
That's right. They're individually gay, not collectively.
I think
gay.
collectively, or any portion of them.
Maybe some, but not all. Not all Funko Pops are gay. I'm not even sure if Funko Pops have genitalia, to be honest, now that I think about it.
Of course, you look there.
Well, I mean, I've got some. I don't have any here. Well, no, I do have one. I have Godzilla, and he's male. But that's the only. And I have a Harley Quinn.
That's why I call out Funko Pops. He points to him on the shelf.
Yeah, well, I got two. I got Godzilla and Harley Quinn. I just like Harley Quinn. As you can see, there's other Harley Quinn figures there too. Most of these, almost everything up there, except for the Big Marvin, was sent to me by viewers. I didn't buy them. They were sent to me. And I appreciate when people send me stuff. I think it's wonderful that they appreciate and want to show their appreciation. So I got a shelf of stuff they sent me there. Little light up things. Someone sent me that the Bigfoot mug. Someone recently sent me the Yosemite Sam and the Little Marvin and the K9. And I thank them for it. I love that kind of stuff. They want to know what size bra Randy wears.
I don't wear one.
Well,
these are just free range.
Yeah, that might get you in trouble in some places.
Maybe the drag shows you go to.
If you go to a naked bike ride, you might want to strap them down so you don't black your eyes.
I mean, you can support all those in front of kids that you want, just like you do on your channel.
There's no kids at the drag shows I go to. They're in bars. You don't let kids in bars. Do you take your kids to bars?
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
What's that mean?
I think that was the saying back when COVID first kicked off, was that if everybody just stays inside for 2 weeks, it goes away.
Oh, yeah, that's such. I think everybody knows my position on COVID and how mismanaged that was. And how the real agenda was just to protect corporate interests in medical care and stuff like that. They just didn't want hospitals collapsing and insurance agencies and companies collapsing. It was all to protect big industry, and they were willing to punish everybody to do it. Are we talking? Anybody talking?
Well, I mean, this wasn't my debate to have.
I just didn't know if we were doing a question and answer afterward or something.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Randy has anything else that he'd specifically like to bring up. Or
I mean, I think I let him hang himself on his arguments and his discussion points.
I'm glad
there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to be dumber than Yankee Marshall.
I will honestly say that I'm glad you think that. It makes me happier that you walk away thinking you accomplished something.
Well, yeah, but if that's I mean, there's not a lot of questions in the chat. It's mostly making fun of either one of you as they're saying what they say.
I can take it. I'll just cry a little.
Just a little. That's good. Johnny B says Yankee gave me AIDS. That's not very nice of you.
I didn't give him AIDS. He had AIDS when I fucked him already.
Oh,
my point.
Point you can't take a joke. Yeah.
That was funny. I think that was funny.
But we see where his mind goes.
Absolute Moon Man's having a toast. But yeah, I mean, if that's it, gentlemen, I'll probably boot you guys, and I got to get through all of this this wonderful support that people are throwing around. Unless somebody wants to say like closing statements for the two of you.
I didn't even know what we were talking about, so I got no clue.
I mean, yeah, this was very last minute, Yankee. Thank you for making the time to come on here and hang out, because like I messaged you today, basically, or yesterday is when we got it settled.
And like I said, I don't know what we're discussing, but I'll come.
I guess
time.
my 2 cents to finalize things is I think you should watch Approacher Band's content and actual SIG 320 content before you continue to make yourself look like a fool. And I'll enjoy collecting that $100 in no time.
And I will gladly watch any content anybody can show that actually shows a gun going off without the trigger being pulled, and will promote that position if it's ever proven. But until then, I won't do things that's damaging to the gun community and the gun industry just because I like the sound of it and it gets me views.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much for hanging out.
No problem.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.